Very good afternoon to one and all. I welcome you all for the next lecture of heat transfer. Please let me know whether my voice is audible and can you see my presentation? Whether my voice is audible? Please let me know. Great, great. So shall I start now? In the last lecture, we have discussed about the LMTD, logarithmic mean temperature difference, okay? And that also for the parallel flow, okay? So parallel flow means both the fluids are moving in the same direction. So that is nothing but parallel flow. And we have derived the LMTD for the parallel flow as theta 2 minus theta 1 divided by ln of theta 1 divided by theta 2 divided by theta 1, okay? So you can change this particular signs also here. If you take the minus sign common, so ln of theta 2 minus ln of theta 1, okay? So what it will be if you take, if you take the minus sign common from the numerator and minus sign common from the denominator, so that will be also once again a plus sign only, okay? So if I say that I have taken the minus sign common, if you have taken the minus sign common, okay, so it will be minus inside the bracket theta 1 minus theta 2, okay? And from the denominator, if you take the minus sign common, so it will be the log of ln of theta 1 divided by theta 2, okay? If you take the minus sign common from the denominator also, so it will be theta 1 divided by theta 2, okay? And here I have to provide the minus sign. So once again this minus minus will be plus sign, and you can remove out this plus sign from here, minus signs from here. So because minus on the denominator and minus on the numerator, that will become a plus. So both the equations are or both the formulas for the LMTD are correct one, that is theta 2 minus theta 1 divided by ln of theta 2 divided by theta 1, or else you can use theta 1 minus theta 2 divided by ln of theta 1 divided by theta 2. Both the formulas are correct, but you have to remember that if you are taking this in the subtraction theta 2 initially, then in the logarithmic term in the denominators are denominator side, theta 2 should be in the numerator, okay? And if you are taking theta 1 in the subtraction as a first quantity, okay, then you have to consider the theta 1 in the numerator, okay, in the numerator in the logarithmic term, okay? So that is the difference, okay? That is the difference. So both the equations are the same one, or that will provide the same results only, okay? These two formulas provide the same results only, but you have to remember these things, okay? Now, in this particular lecture, we are going to discuss about the LMTD for counterflow heat exchanger. Okay. So already we have discussed what is meant by counterflow. So in counterflow, the fluids are moving in opposite direction. Okay. Fluids are moving in opposite direction. So we are going to consider the concentric tube heat exchanger. That is, one small tube is present inside the large tube, okay? And through that particular small tube, the one fluid is flowing, and through the large tube, okay, which is surrounding to the small tube, one fluid is flowing, okay. So let us consider through the small tube, the hot is flowing, and through the large tube, the cold fluid is flowing. But the flowing directions are opposite to each other, okay. So one fluid, that is hot fluid, which is flowing through the small tube, is flowing in this direction. So entry temperature or inlet for the hot fluid should be on this side, okay. And whereas the inlet for the cold fluid is on this direction, okay, or on this side, okay. So we have to consider the inlet for cold fluid on this side and inlet for the hot fluid on this side. And similar fashion, the opposite side will be considered as a outlet for that particular fluid, okay, outlet for that particular fluid. So what will be the temperature diagram, okay, temperature profile diagram for this heat exchanger over the surface area, okay. So we have to plot the graph for area versus temperature, okay, for area versus temperature, okay. So let us consider that the hot fluid inlet from this side, okay, hot fluid inlet from this side, and the inlet temperature of a hot fluid we have to consider as a TH1. So hot fluid temperature we have provided on this side, okay, and it will flows over the surface area, and during the flowing or while flowing that particular fluid in that heat exchanger, hot fluid will lost its heat to the cold fluid, so that as it moves over the surface area of a heat exchanger or through the tube, the temperature of a hot fluid goes on decreasing, okay. And another side we will get the outlet temperature or outlet fluid of a hot fluid, okay, outlet fluid of a hot stream. So we will get the outlet temperature on another side. So we have to provide here TH2, okay, we have to provide here TH2 for the hot fluid, okay. Now whereas the cold fluid is entered from this side, okay, cold fluid entered from this side. So we have to provide the inlet temperature on this side only for the cold fluid. So TC1 we have provided on this side, and it is moving up in opposite direction to the hot fluid. So hot fluid direction is this one. So here the arrow is shown, and by considering this arrow, hot fluid is flowing in this direction, whereas the arrow of cold fluid is in opposite to the hot fluid. So the cold fluid entry from this side, so TC1 we have provided the inlet temperature on this side, and it is flowing opposite to the hot fluid. And during the motion of that particular fluid, or the when the fluid is flowing through the surface area of a heat exchanger or through the tube, its temperature goes on increasing as it gain the heat from hot fluid, okay. So its temperature goes on increasing. And on the another side, where is the entry of a hot fluid, on that side we'll get the exit of cold fluid, we'll get the exit of a cold fluid. So TC2 will be on the side of a, or will be on the exit side, or we can say that will be on the inlet side of hot fluid, okay. The where is the inlet of a hot fluid on this side, the exit of a cold fluid, and where is the exit of a hot fluid is there on this side, the inlet of a cold fluid is there, okay, inlet of a cold fluid is there. So that is the difference of a parallel flow and counter flow heat exchanger. Now here we are going to consider that on this side temperature difference is TH1 minus TC2, okay. On this side temperature difference is TH1 minus TC2, and that temperature difference we have to consider as a theta1. And on this side the temperature difference is TH2 minus TC1. So TH2 minus TC1, this temperature difference we have to consider as a theta2, okay. We have to consider as a theta2. Remember, in case of a parallel flow, both the fluids are entered from the same direction and exit on the same direction, okay. So that in case of a parallel flow, we are getting theta1 is equal to TH1 minus TC1, and theta2 as TH2 minus TC2. But in case of a counter flow, we know that the fluids are flowing in opposite direction, so that we will get the theta1 as TH1 minus TC2, and where is theta2 as TH2 minus TC1, TH2 minus TC2. Getting everyone? Now here once again, we know that the overall heat transfer, we have to determine the LMTD. Okay, so for that reason, in a similar fashion as we have considered in case of a parallel flow arrangement, we have to consider one small area or the elemental area of overall heat exchanger. Overall heat exchanger, out of that, we have to consider small elemental area for the observation purpose. Now, in this particular elemental area, okay, this elemental dA area we have considered, okay. So, in this particular elemental area, the inlet temperature for this elemental area for the hot fluid we have to consider as TH, okay. TH is the inlet temperature for this elemental area, whereas the TC is the inlet temperature for the elemental area. So, here, while considering the elemental area, we have to always consider that the positive x direction. We have to always consider that the positive x direction. So positive x direction is this one. So that we have to consider the positive x direction only. Okay. So that whereas the cold fluid is flowing in opposite direction, but then also we have to consider the positive x direction only. So the inlet temperature or the inlet temperature for this particular area for the hot fluid is TH, and whereas the inlet temperature for, or we can say that the outlet temperature for cold fluid for this particular elemental area is TC. So that difference we have to consider as theta. Okay, that difference we have to consider as a theta. Okay, now further, as this particular hot fluid flowing through this particular elemental area, the hot fluid temperature goes on decreasing. Hot fluid temperature goes on decreasing. So the hot fluid will transfer dq amount of heat. How much temperature decrement will happen in a hot fluid? We have to consider the dth amount of a temperature decrement will happen in a hot fluid. Okay, and due to that heat loss, the dq amount of heat will be lost to the cold fluid. Okay, dq amount of heat will be lost to the cold fluid, and the cold fluid temperature will get increased. Okay, cold fluid temperature will get increased, but it in a opposite direction. So increment in a cold fluid temperature is DTC. Okay, increment in a cold fluid temperature in a DTC. But if you consider that the positive x direction, if you consider this line also and this line also in a positive x direction means in this direction. So both the temperatures in a positive x direction are going to decrease. Okay, this line is also going to decrease in a positive x direction, and this line is also going to decrease in a positive x direction. Okay, because we have to consider the temperature difference. Okay, to calculate the heat transfer rate, we have to consider the temperature difference. So we have to fix one of the direction only. Okay, so for one fluid we cannot take the negative x direction measurement, and for one of the fluid we cannot take the positive x direction measurement. So one of the direction we have to fix, and through that direction only we have to measure the temperature. And while considering the temperature difference, we are always considering the next temperature minus initial temperature. So the heat transfer in a positive x direction, dq amount of heat will be lost to the cold fluid, okay, by the hot fluid. So that heat transfer we will get the negative, as the fluid is losing the heat to the another fluid. So the heat transfer rate for the cold fluid, we will get the negative heat transfer rate. Okay, in a similar fashion, if you consider that for the cold fluid temperature is also going to decrease in a positive x direction. The cold fluid temperature is also going to decrease in a positive x direction. So for heat gain also for the cold fluid, we will get the negative temperature only. Okay, or the negative heat transfer rate only. Okay, negative heat transfer only. Now overall, the total heat transfer in this particular elemental area dA can be given as dq is equal to u multiplied by dA multiplied by th minus tc. Okay, but the th minus tc is nothing but the temperature difference, inlet temperature difference. U is the overall heat transfer coefficient, and dA is the elemental area available for the heat transfer. So if we have considered th minus tc as theta, so we can consider the dq is equal to u multiplied by dA multiplied by theta. So that will be equation number A. Similarly, in case of a parallel flow, we have considered that the hot fluid is losing the heat of a dq amount, is losing dq amount of heat to the cold fluid in a elemental area, so that the cold fluid temperature going to increase by dTc amount and the hot fluid temperature going to decrease by dTh amount. Okay, so in that case we can write dq is equal to m minus m dot h multiplied by cph multiplied by dth. Okay, which is equal to minus m dot c multiplied by cpc multiplied by dtc. Okay, we have taken in case of a parallel flow only hot fluid losing the heat, that heat transfer we have considered the negative one, but the cold fluid gain of heat we have considered as a positive one in case of a parallel flow. Okay, but in this case both the fluids are having decrement in their temperature while moving over the length of that particular heat exchanger in a positive x direction, so that both the heat transfer in this case for the hot fluid and for the cold fluid we have to consider as a negative only. So dq is equal to minus m dot h multiplied by cph multiplied by dth is equal to minus m dot c multiplied by cpc multiplied by dtc, where m dot h is nothing but mass flow rate of a hot fluid, m dot c is nothing but mass flow rate of cold fluid, cph is nothing but specific heat at a constant pressure for hot fluid and specific heat for the cold fluid. Okay, and dth is the change in temperature for the hot fluid, and dTc is nothing but the change in temperature for the cold fluid. So from this equation we can calculate dTh, we can consider the dTh and dTc. So dTh from this first part of equation, dq is equal to minus m dot h multiplied by cph multiplied by dTh. So from this equation we can write for the dTh as dt suffix h is equal to minus dq divided by m dot h multiplied by cph is equal to minus dq divided by c suffix h, where c suffix h is nothing but m dot h multiplied by cph, which is called as a heat capacity of that particular fluid. Ch is nothing but heat capacity of a hot fluid. Then in a similar fashion, from the second part of equation number 1, dq is equal to minus m dot c multiplied by cpc multiplied by dth. From this particular equation we can calculate for dtc. Okay, dt suffix c, which is equal to dq minus dq. I have to write minus dq divided by m dot c multiplied by cpc, which can be written as minus dq divided by c suffix c, where c suffix c is nothing but product of m dot c and cpc. Okay, product of m dot c multiplied by cpc is nothing but c suffix c, and it is equal to heat capacity of a cold fluid. Heat capacity of a cold fluid. Now, once again, in a similar fashion, whatever we have considered for the parallel flow, same procedure we have to follow for the counter flow also. Okay, so here also we are considering that the theta is nothing but th minus tc. Okay, theta is nothing but th minus tc. We know that what is theta is nothing but th minus tc. Okay, so similarly we have considered that theta is equal to th minus tc. If you differentiate this d theta, okay, if you differentiate the theta, then you will get the equation as d theta is equal to dth minus dtc. Now here we know that dth and dtc values are the equations, okay, or the formulas. So we have to put up these formulas. So we know that equation number 1 and 2 for dth and dtc. So just put up the values of dth and dtc in the equation. So we'll get minus dq divided by c suffix h plus dq divided by c suffix c. Okay, so from that particular equation, if you take the common dq, okay, if you take the common minus dq, okay, then we will get d theta is equal to minus dq inside the bracket 1 upon ch minus 1 upon cc. Okay, but from equation a we know that dq is nothing but u multiply by dA multiply by th minus tc, that is nothing but u multiply by dA multiply by theta. So we are going to put up this dq value in this particular equation, so that we will get d theta as d theta is equal to minus u multiply by dA multiply by theta inside the bracket 1 upon ch minus 1 upon cc. Okay, so if you transfer this theta on this side, so it will be d theta divided by theta, which is equal to minus u multiplied by dA inside the bracket 1 upon ch minus 1 upon cc. Now similar fashion we have to integrate this particular equation from inlet to outlet. Okay, so at the inlet what will be the area, what will be the area will be considered as a 0, and at the outlet area will be complete area will be considered. Okay, so in a similar fashion for the theta, at the inlet we have to consider the theta 1, and on one side we have to consider the theta 1, and on another side we have to consider the theta 2. So first of all we have to integrate, and we have to provide the limits for that particular quantity. So integration with the limits theta 2, theta 1 to theta 2 of d theta divided by theta, which is equal to integration with the limits 0 to a inside the bracket minus u multiplied by dA inside the bracket 1 upon ch minus 1 upon cc. Okay, so here theta is the variable, and on this side dA is the variable. So all other quantities are just a constant. So we have to integrate these quantities only, and we have to provide the limits. So ln of theta with theta 1 to theta 2 with the limits theta 1 to theta 2, and which is equal to minus u multiplied by 1 upon ch minus 1 upon cc multiplied by integration of dA is only a, and with the limits 0 to a. So next we have to provide the upper limit and lower limits. Okay, so upper limit minus lower limit. So we will get ln of theta 2 minus ln of theta 1, which is equal to minus u. Okay, multiply by area. Now here integration area upper limit is a only and lower limit is 0. So a minus 0, that will be a only. So you will get minus u multiplied by area multiplied by 1 upon ch minus 1 upon cc. Okay, apply the logarithmic rule. Log theta 2 minus log theta 1 is nothing but log theta 2 divided by theta 1. So same fashion, ln of theta 2 minus ln of theta 1, that is nothing but ln of theta 2 minus theta 2 divided by theta 1, and which is equal to minus u multiplied by a inside the bracket 1 upon ch minus 1 upon cc. Okay, now total heat transfer rate between these two fluids can be given as, we know that q is equal to m dot multiplied by m dot h multiplied by cph multiplied by th1 minus th2, that is the heat lost by the hot fluid, and in a similar fashion m dot c multiplied by cpc multiplied by tc2 minus tc1, that is the heat gained by the cold fluid. Okay, so in that case we know that m dot h multiplied by cph is nothing but ch, and m dot c multiplied by cpc is nothing but cc. So we have directly considered that equation, that is q is equal to ch multiplied by th1 minus th2, which is equal to c suffix c multiplied by inside the bracket tc2 minus tc1. Okay, so from this equation we will get the values of 1 upon ch and 1 upon cc. So 1 upon ch will be equal to, from first part of equation we will get 1 upon ch equal to th1 minus th2 divided by q, and from the second part of equation we'll get 1 upon cc is equal to tc2 minus tc1 divided by q. Now put up this value in our previous equation. In this equation we have to put up the values 1 upon ch and 1 upon cc values. So we will get the equation, that is ln of theta 2 divided by theta 1, which is equal to minus u multiplied by a inside the square bracket th1 minus th2 divided by q minus in another bracket tc2 minus tc1 divided by q. Okay, now from this particular bracket, if you consider minus q common, if you take the minus q common, so initially minus sign is there, and if you are taking 1 upon minus q common, so it will be plus this minus and minus, inside minus sign will become a plus, and you will get the equation as ln of theta 2 divided by theta 1, which is equal to u multiplied by a divided by q, plus will be there, and as you are taking the minus sign common, so inside bracket signs will get changed. So plus th1 will become minus th1, minus th2 will become plus th2, minus tc2 becomes plus tc2, and plus tc1 becomes minus tc1. Okay, plus Tc1 will becomes minus Tc1. So in this fashion, we have to change the signs of temperatures, and then we have to combine. We have to make the sets of temperature so that we will get the theta1 and theta2. Now in this counter flow heat exchanger, remember that Th1 minus Tc2 is nothing but theta1, and Th2 minus Tc1 is nothing but Th1 minus Tc2 is nothing but theta1, and Th2 minus Tc1 is nothing but theta2. Okay, is nothing but theta2. So here you will get, you have to rearrange this particular temperature so that you will get the theta1 and theta2. So here if you take minus common and Th1 and Tc2 in one bracket, so you will get, if you take the minus common, you will get Th1 minus Tc2, okay, plus the remaining term in the another bracket, Th2 minus Tc1, okay, where Th1 minus Tc2 is nothing but, in case of a counter flow, Th1 minus Tc2 is nothing but theta1, and in case of a counter flow, Th2 minus Tc1 is nothing but a theta2, okay. So that you will get the equation ln of theta2 divided by theta1, which is equal to u multiplied by a divided by q, inside the bracket minus theta1 plus theta2. So you'll get the equation ln of theta2 divided by theta1, which is equal to u multiplied by a divided by q, inside the bracket theta2 minus theta1. Okay. Similarly, you know that the q is equal to u multiplied by a multiplied by theta m. So that we are converting this equation in the form of a q. So we will take the q on this side and ln logarithmic term on this side, so that we will get the equation as q is equal to u multiply by a multiply by theta2 minus theta1 whole divided by ln of theta2 divided by theta1. Okay, so we know q is equal to u multiply by a multiply by theta m, so that theta m is nothing but u and a terms are already there in the equation, so remaining term is nothing but logarithmic mean temperature for the counter flow. So theta m will be equal to theta2 minus theta1 divided by ln of theta2 divided by theta1. Okay. Now here, if you compare the equations LMTD for parallel flow and LMTD for the counter flow, we'll get the same equation. We'll get the same equation. But here, in case of a parallel flow also, we'll get theta2 minus theta1 divided by ln of theta2 divided by theta1. And in case of a counter flow also, we'll get the same equation for the LMTD. But what is the difference? Here, difference is about the configuration of a theta terms. Okay. So in case of a parallel flow, theta1 is nothing but th1 minus tc1. Okay, th1 minus tc1 in case of a parallel flow, theta1. Okay, but in case of a counter flow, theta1 is nothing but th1 minus tc2. Okay, th1 minus tc2 in case of a counter flow. In case of a parallel flow, theta2 is nothing but th2 minus tc2. But in case of a counter flow, theta2 is nothing but th2 minus tc1. So that is the difference between the two equations for the counter flow and parallel flow. But the equation for the LMTD looks same for both types of a flow, that is theta2 minus theta1 divided by ln of theta2 divided by theta1. Okay, ln of theta2 divided by theta1. Getting everyone? Is there any question, any doubt? Is there any question, any doubt in case of a LMTD for a counter flow? So you can draw this figure initially, LMTD for counter flow. Okay. If the figure is not visible properly, then you can rotate your mobile screen, and you can also use the zoom picture of your mobile. Okay. If you have any doubt, you can ask, or else you can just draw this diagram and we will move ahead for the derivation part, dictation of derivation part. Don't forget to show the arrow. Okay, so these arrows are most important in this particular diagram. Okay, and provide proper nomenclature. Okay, have you drawn the diagram? Shall I dictate? Now write down. Let us consider. Let us consider. Let us consider an elementary area. Let us consider an elementary area dA. Let us consider an elementary area dA of the heat exchanger. Let us consider an elementary area dA of the heat exchanger. Full stop. The rate of flow of heat. The rate of flow of heat through this elementary area. The rate of flow of heat through this elementary area is given by is given by dq is equal to dq is equal to u multiply by dA multiply by th minus tc. Dq is equal to u multiply by dA multiply by th minus tc, which is equal to u multiply by dA multiply by theta. Give this equation number A. Then next, as a result of heat transfer, as a result of heat transfer, as a result of heat transfer through the area dA, through the area dA, through the area dA, the hot fluid is cooled by dTh. The hot fluid is cooled by dTh, whereas the hot fluid is cooled by dTh, dt suffix h, whereas the cold fluid is the cold fluid is heated up by dTc. Okay, so next, therefore dq is equal to minus m dot h minus m dot h multiply by cph multiply by cph multiply by dth, which is equal to minus m dot c multiply by cpc multiply by dtc. Therefore, from equation 1, we can write dth as dth is equal to dt suffix h is equal to minus dq divided by m dot h multiplied by cph, which is equal to minus dq divided by ch. And dtc can be written as minus dq divided by m dot c multiplied by cpc, which is equal to minus dq divided by cc, c suffix c. Where ch is equal to m dot h multiplied by cph, which is equal to heat capacity of hot fluid, and cc is equal to m dot c multiplied by cpc, which is equal to heat capacity of cold fluid. Then next, now theta is equal to th minus tc, th minus tc. Therefore, d theta is equal to dth minus dtc, which is equal to minus dq divided by ch, and minus minus sign will be plus, so that plus dq divided by c suffix c, plus dq divided by c suffix c. Therefore, we will get d theta as, if you take the minus dq sign common, d theta is equal to minus dq inside bracket 1 upon ch minus 1 upon cc. One upon ch minus 1 upon cc. So from equation A, we know that dq is nothing but u multiplied by dA multiplied by th minus tc, which is equal to u multiplied by dA multiplied by theta. Okay, so we have to put up the dq in this particular equation, so that d theta we will get the d theta as minus u multiplied by dA multiplied by theta inside bracket 1 upon ch minus 1 upon c suffix c. And if you take the d theta on another side, so you will get d theta divided by theta, which is equal to minus u multiplied by dA inside bracket 1 upon ch minus 1 upon c suffix c. Now integrate this equation between inlet and outlet condition, that is when area is equal to 0 and when area is equal to total area, that is capital A. So limits we have to provide at inlet and outlet. So inlet limit for the theta is theta 1 and outlet limit for the theta is theta 2. So integration with the limit theta 1 to theta 2 for d theta divided by theta, which is equal to limit for the area is 0 to capital A, that is total area. So limit we have to provide for integration at 0 to A for minus u multiplied by dA inside bracket 1 upon ch minus 1 upon cc. So 1 upon theta integration is log theta, that is ln of theta, and the limits we have to provided for that particular theta as theta 1 to theta 2, which is equal to here minus u and this bracket 1 upon ch minus 1 upon cc are constant, so we have to keep that constant as it is, and we have to integrate only dA. So integration of dA is only A, and we have to provide their limits from 0 to A. Okay, then put up upper limit and then lower limit, upper limit minus lower limit. So we'll get ln of theta 2 minus ln of theta 1, which is equal to minus u multiply by A multiply by inside bracket 1 upon ch minus 1 upon c suffix c. And if you apply the logarithmic rule for this log subtraction, then you will get ln of theta 2 divided by theta 1, which is equal to minus u multiply by A multiply by inside bracket 1 upon ch minus 1 upon c suffix c. Now next is, now we have to consider the total heat transfer between the two fluids. Okay, that is heat loss by the cold fluid, heat loss by the hot fluid, and heat gain by the cold fluid. So the total heat transfer rate between the two fluid is given by total heat transfer rate between two fluid is given by Q is equal to Q is equal to CH multiplied by TH1 minus TH2. CH is nothing but M dot H multiplied by CPH. So CH multiplied by TH1 minus TH2, which is equal to C suffix C multiplied by TC2 minus TC1. Okay. So from this equation, we can consider 1 upon CH and 1 upon CC values. So 1 upon CH will be equal to TH1 minus TH2 divided by Q. And 1 upon Cc, which is equal to Tc2 minus Tc1 divided by Q. Okay, so put up these values in previous equation. So we'll get the equation as ln of theta 2 divided by theta 1, which is equal to minus u multiplied by a. Put up 1 upon ch value as inside bracket th1 minus th2 divided by q, and minus 1 upon cc value is tc2 minus tc1 divided by q. Okay, and further take minus q common, so that out of the bracket you will get u multiplied by a divided by q, and inside bracket signs will be changed, minus th1 plus th2 plus tc2 minus tc1. We have to combine the terms in one bracket so that we will get theta 1 and theta 2. So in case of a counter flow heat exchanger, theta 1 is nothing but th1 minus tc2, and theta 2 is nothing but th2 minus tc1. Okay, so combine the temperature term, so that we will get the theta 1 and theta 2 values, and we will get the equation as ln of theta 2 divided by theta 1, which is equal to u multiplied by a divided by q, inside bracket minus theta 1 plus theta 2. So you can rearrange this term minus theta 1 plus theta 2 as theta 2 minus theta 1, theta 2 minus theta 1. Okay, so now transfer this q on this side and logarithmic term on this side. So we will get q is equal to u multiply by a multiply by theta 2 minus theta 1 divided by ln of theta 2 divided by theta 1. And we know that what is meant by q? Q is equal to u multiply by a multiply by theta m. So u and a terms are there. So theta m is nothing but theta 2 minus theta 1 divided by ln of theta 2 divided by theta 1. Okay, so therefore you can write theta m is equal to LMTD, that is logarithmic mean temperature difference for counter flow, and it is also equal to theta 2 minus theta 1 divided by ln of theta 2 divided by theta 1. Over, getting everyone about this LMTD for counter flow. Now there are some special cases that we need to discuss. Okay, so special cases. sometimes we have to think rather than LMTD, or we have to find out another ways to solve the problem in this particular cases. Okay, so case number one is if the theta 1 and theta 2 values are same one. Okay, sometimes we will get the same values, that is nothing but initial temperature difference and final temperature difference, we will get the same one. So what will we have to do in that particular case? So what will happen, let us discuss that point. If theta 1 is equal to theta 2, okay, so in that case we know that theta m, that is the LMTD for counter flow and parallel flow, for both the flows we will get the same equation, that is theta m is equal to theta 2 minus theta 1 divided by ln of theta 2 divided by theta 1. If this both the values are same, okay, then we will get 0 divided by 0. Okay, that is nothing but theta m is equal to 0 divided by 0. So this value is indeterminate, we cannot find this particular value, so this value is indeterminate. So in this particular case we have to take the help of a limit. Okay, we have to take the help of a limit, and we have to apply the L'Hospital rule. Okay, so how to apply the L'Hospital rule? So first of all we have to consider that limit theta 2 tends to theta 1. Okay, limit, what limit we have to consider when theta 2 is approaching to the theta 1. Okay, that limit we have to consider, and we have to apply this limit for this particular equation, that is nothing but theta 2 minus theta 1 divided by ln of theta 2 divided by theta 1. Okay, so once we apply this, then after that we have to convert that particular limit in the form of theta 2 divided by theta 1. Okay, so limit we have to convert theta 2 divided by theta 1, which tends to 1. Okay, which tends to 1. Now here, to convert that theta 2 divided by theta 1 in the numerator side, we have taken the common. Okay, out of these two terms we have taken the common theta 1, and we will get inside the bracket theta 2 divided by theta 1 minus 1. Okay, minus 1, and in the denominator side already there is a ln of theta 2 divided by theta 1. Now further we are going to consider the theta 2 divided by theta 1 as r for the simplification of for the derivation or the part. We have to consider theta 2 divided by theta 1 as r, and as we have discussed that theta 1 and theta 2 values are same one, so that if you consider theta 1 is equal to theta 2, which is equal to theta. Okay, theta 1 is equal to theta 2, which is equal to theta, then our equation will get changed to limit r tends to 1 as theta 2 divided by theta 1 is r, so that limit r tends to 1, and inside bracket theta 1 is theta, so we have put up instead of theta 1 theta, over here theta we have put up, and theta 2 divided by theta 1 is nothing but r, so inside bracket r minus 1 and whole divided by ln of r. So if you remember the limit theory about the L'Hospital rule, so we have to take the separate differentiation for the numerator and for the denominator. Okay, and we have to consider this differentiation with respect to r. Okay, so we have to consider the differentiation of a numerator separately. So here if you multiply theta inside the bracket, so it will be theta multiplied by r minus theta. So differentiation of theta multiplied by r is only r, and minus theta differentiation with respect to r will become 0. So in the numerator we will get only theta, and differentiation of ln of r with respect to r is 1 upon r. So in the denominator you will get 1 upon r. Okay, so once again we have to provide whatever the differentiation. After differentiating we will get limit r tends to 1, and in the numerator we will get theta, and in the denominator we will get 1 upon r. Now you can put up the limit value over here, so that you will get r tends to 1. So instead of r, if you put 1, so in the denominator side 1 divided by 1, it's also 1, so you will get only theta. Okay, you will get only theta. So instead of considering theta m in case of in this particular special case, that is when you are getting theta 1 is equal to theta 2, so instead of considering LMTD, you can directly consider the theta, whatever the temperature difference value is there. So that initial temperature difference or final temperature difference, whatever the value is there, so directly you can consider that value for the calculation of a heat transfer rate. Okay, hence at theta 1 is equal to theta 2, in that case you can consider directly Q is equal to U multiplied by A multiplied by theta, where theta is the initial temperature difference or the final temperature difference. Okay, so this is the one case where we are considering that when we are getting the value of theta 1 equal to theta 2, so in that case you have to consider the equation that Q is equal to U multiplied by A multiplied by theta. Now the second case, okay, so in second case what is happening, okay, sometimes there is, most of the times or most of the cases, if you get the temperature distribution as a straight line, okay, or there is no much variation in a temperature distribution curve, okay, and mostly that particular curve will become a straight line. So what will we have to perform, what we have to do in that case, whether we have to apply the LMTD or whether we have to go for another way. So for that case, for the particular case where when the temperature variation of a fluid are relatively small, then the temperature variation curves are approximately straight lines, and accurate results in that particular case are obtained by taking the arithmetic mean temperature difference. Okay, arithmetic mean temperature difference. So what is meant by arithmetic mean temperature difference? In a short form, it is called as AMTD. Okay, it is called as AMTD. So AMTD is just we can say that the average of theta 1 and theta 2. Okay, average of theta 1 and theta 2. So theta A denotes the AMTD. Okay, theta M is denotes the LMTD, whereas theta A is denotes the AMTD. So AMTD is equal to theta 1 plus theta 2 divided by 2. So here is the one question, that when we have to consider the AMTD and when we have to consider the LMTD. So for that purpose, you have to perform one small operation, that is nothing but you have to consider the ratio of theta 1 to theta 2. If this particular ratio is greater than or equal to 1.7, then you can use the LMTD method. And if this particular ratio is less than 1.7, then you have to use the AMTD. AMTD is nothing but what? AMTD is equal to theta 1 plus theta 2 divided by 2. Theta 1 plus theta 2 divided by 2. So in this case, your equation for the heat transfer rate in case of AMTD, your equation for the heat transfer rate, which is Q is equal to U multiply by A multiply by theta A. Theta A. In this case, in case of AMTD, you have to use this particular equation, and whereas the theta A is nothing but AMTD, which is equal to theta 1 plus theta 2 divided by 2. Theta 1 plus theta 2 divided by 2. Getting? So these two special cases you have to remember while solving the problems of LMTD. Okay. First of all, you have to check that whether this ratio is greater than or equal to 1.7. So in that case, you have to use the LMTD. And if this ratio is less than 1.7, in that case, you have to use the AMTD. And if the value of theta 1 and value of theta 2 are same, in that case, you have to consider one of the value and you have to solve the heat transfer rate equation as Q is equal to U multiplied by A multiplied by only theta. Okay, only theta. That is the initial temperature difference or final temperature difference. We can say that inlet temperature difference or outlet temperature difference. Okay, so these are the two cases, and you have to remember these two cases while solving the problems of LMTD. Okay, so special case number 1, you can write special case number 1. Special case number 1. In some cases, in some cases of counterflow heat exchanger, in some cases of counterflow heat exchanger, in some cases of counterflow heat exchanger, we'll get theta 1 is equal to theta 2. We'll get theta 1 is equal to theta 2. Theta 1 is equal to theta 2. So our equation for LMTD is for counter flow and parallel flow. Theta m is equal to theta 2 minus theta 1 whole divided by ln of theta 2 divided by theta 1. So if these two values are same, then we will get theta m is equal to 0 divided by 0, where this value is indeterminate. Then in this case, the value of theta m can be calculated by applying L'Hospital rule. In this case, the value of theta m can be calculated by applying L'Hospital rule. So for that reason, we have to apply the limits. So limit theta 2 tends to theta 1 inside bracket theta 2 minus theta 1 divided by ln of theta 2 divided by theta 1. Okay, then further we have to change the limits. If you take theta 1 on this side, so it will be limit theta 2 divided by theta 1 tends to 1, and inside bracket if you take theta 1 common from the numerator side, so theta 1 inside bracket theta 2 divided by theta 1 minus 1 divided by ln of theta 2 divided by theta 1. Now here we have to consider theta 2 divided by theta 1 as r, and theta 1 equal to theta 2 equal to theta. Then the equation will become limit r tends to 1 inside bracket theta inside bracket r minus 1 divided by ln of r divided by ln of r. Okay, now we have to differentiate numerator and denominator with respect to r, and then we have to apply the limits. So differentiation of numerator is only theta, and differentiation of denominator with respect to r is 1 upon r. Okay, and if you put up the limits, then instead of r, if you put up 1, so 1 divided by 1, once again 1, and you will get only theta. So in case of theta 1 is equal to theta 2, you have to consider Q is equal to U multiplied by A multiplied by theta. Okay, then special case number 2, write down special case number 2. Special case number 2. And that you can write when temperature variation of fluids, when temperature variation of fluids are relatively small, are relatively small, are relatively small, then the temperature variation curves, then the temperature variation curves then the temperature variation curves are approximately straight lines, are approximately straight lines, and and adequately accurate results are obtained, and adequately accurate results are obtained by taking the arithmetic mean temperature difference. Adequate accurate results are obtained by taking the arithmetic mean temperature difference in bracket AMTD, in bracket AMTD, instead of taking LMTD, instead of taking LMTD. Okay, and what is meant by AMTD? So theta A, we can represent the AMTD. We can say that theta A is representing the AMTD. So theta A is equal to AMTD, which is equal to theta 1 plus theta 2 divided by 2. That is nothing but average of theta 1 and theta 2. Okay, average of theta 1 and theta 2. So when we have to use LMTD and when we have to use the AMTD. So for that reason, this note is very much important. When the ratio of theta 1 to theta 2 is greater than or equal to 1.7, then we have to use the LMTD. And if this ratio is less than 1.7, then we have to use the LMTD. Then we have to use the AMTD. Okay, when this ratio is less than 1.7, then we have to use the AMTD. Okay, everyone getting these two cases? Is there any doubt, any question in these two cases? If not, then can I move ahead for the next point? So you can say that in case of AMTD, you can write the equation for Q as Q is equal to U multiplied by A multiplied by theta A. Okay. Okay. So next point is nothing but overall heat transfer coefficient. Actually, we have discussed about this in the chapter number 1 also, that whenever the heat is transferring from one fluid to another fluid across the wall, then we have to consider the overall heat transfer coefficient, that is nothing but capital U. Okay. So in that case, we have considered one diagram. So this diagram we have considered for the overall heat transfer. Two fluids are separated by the wall. Okay. So one fluid is having the temperature of a Ts suffix HF, that is the hot fluid temperature, and that particular fluid is also having the heat transfer coefficient as H suffix HF. Now, first the heat will transfer to this particular wall, okay, and the wall one side temperature is T1, and the heat will flow through the wall by conduction mode, and then the heat will transfer from the another surface of wall to the another fluid, whereas another fluid is maintained at a T suffix Cf temperature and having the heat transfer coefficient as H suffix Cf. Okay, so in this particular case we can say that the two different modes of heat transfer are included. One is nothing but conduction and another one is nothing but convection. So in this particular case we have to use the overall heat transfer coefficient for calculation purpose, okay, for the calculation of a heat transfer. So in this case this overall heat transfer coefficient can be given as U is equal to 1 divided by H suffix HF plus L divided by K plus 1 divided by H suffix CF. Now here if you remember the electrical analogy for the wall case, so all the resistance we have put up over here, and the internal temperatures we have to provide over here. Okay, so R1 is 1 upon H suffix HF, that is the resistance offered by the fluid, hot fluid, to transfer the heat to the wall. Then L divided by K is nothing but the resistance offered by the wall for the conduction heat transfer, and 1 divided by H suffix Cf multiplied by A, that is the resistance offered by the heat transfer from the wall surface to the cold fluid. Okay, so if you add up this all the resistance, okay, if you add up this all the resistance, then you will get the summation of total resistance summation. You will get 1 divided by H suffix HF multiplied by A plus L divided by K multiplied by A plus 1 divided by H suffix Cf multiplied by A. And if you take the 1 upon A common and shift it to the numerator side, then whatever the term will remain there, so that term is called as a U. That term is called as a U, that is nothing but overall heat transfer coefficient. So this is about the wall case. So what about the and this particular case is used when the fluids are separated by the rectangular wall. Okay, if you can say that the surface area for the heat exchange is a rectangular surface area. So in that case, to calculate U or the overall heat transfer coefficient, you can use this particular formula. But if the tube, the fluid is flowing through the tubes, so what will we have to do in that particular case? Okay, so in that case, the two different phenomena we have to use, that is nothing but overall heat transfer coefficient on the basis of inner surface, and second one is overall heat transfer coefficient on the basis of outer surface. So what is nothing but that we have to consider first of all. So let us consider that this is the tube, okay, and through that particular tube one fluid is flowing, and over that particular tube another fluid is flowing. Okay, so this is the cylindrical arrangement. We have discussed much more problems about the the heat transfer through the cylinder. So this is the cylindrical arrangement. So inside temperature of the fluid is T suffix I, and outside temperature of the fluid is T suffix naught. Okay, so inside heat transfer coefficient of H suffix I, and outside heat transfer coefficient is H naught, and thermal conductivity of that particular tube is K, and the radiuses are provided over here. The outer radius of tube is R naught and inside radius of tube is Ri. So in this particular case, how to write the all the resistance? Okay, so the first resistance is nothing but, if you consider that hot fluid is there present over here, so the heat will transfer radially outward. Okay, radially outward. So in that case, this first resistance for the heat transfer is because of a convection. Okay, so convection heat transfer will happen from the inside fluid to inner surface of a tube. So that will provide the convective resistance, and the convective resistance is given as 1 divided by H multiplied by area. Okay, now the area we have to consider as a inner surface area for the tube, that is nothing but A suffix I. Okay, 1 divided by H suffix I, that is the inner fluid heat coefficient of heat transfer multiply and second one resistance is offered by this particular wall. Okay, further heat will be transferred from the inner surface of wall to the outer surface, so that resistance is given as 1 divided by 2 pi kl multiplied by ln of r naught divided by ri, or we in our language or in our lectures we have discussed that ln of r naught divided by ri divided by 2 pi kl is the resistance offered for the conduction when the heat is transferred through the thickness of that particular tubular wall or through the cylindrical wall. Okay, and the further heat will transfer from the outer surface of the tube or the cylinder to the external environment or external fluid. So in that case, the convective resistance will be offered for that particular heat transfer, and convective resistance will be given as 1 divided by H naught multiplied by N A naught, where H naught is the outer heat transfer coefficient, outer surface or outer fluid heat transfer coefficient, and A naught is nothing but outer surface area of that particular tube, outer surface area of that particular tube. Now if you add up this particular all the resistance, okay, so that will provide you the total resistance. Okay, that will provide you the total resistance. But we know that what we know, Q is equal to U multiply by U multiply by A multiply by delta T or theta. We can say that if I consider the theta m, okay, theta m. Okay, so now if you consider that the one of the area we have to consider, okay, means in this case what we have done, we have taken one area common and we have shifted to the numerator side. Same in a similar fashion, which area we have to consider common and which area we have to transfer to the numerator side. So on that basis, this particular segregation is there based on the inner surface and based on the outer surface. Now here you can say that the summation of all the resistance having two areas. Okay, one is nothing but internal surface area and another one is nothing but outer surface area. So out of that, which surface area we have to consider over here? Okay, if you consider this surface area as AI, that is nothing but we have taken internal surface area common and we have transferred that internal surface area to the numerator side. So in that case, whatever your value of overall heat transfer coefficient will be considered as based on a internal surface area. That particular value is based on an internal surface area. Now here, if you take the AI common, so here 1 upon HI will be remaining, plus now here Ri divided by K, okay, ln of R naught divided by Ri plus R naught divided by Ri multiplied by 1 divided by H naught. Okay, so as we know that the area for the cylinder is nothing but 2 pi RL. Okay, and internal area, if you are going to consider, then 2 pi R suffix I multiply by L, and external surface area if you want to consider as 2 pi R naught L. So that will be the external surface area. So calculation part is there. So if you transfer that to the numerator side, if you take the internal surface area common, okay, and if you transfer to the numerator side, so then it will, you will get Ui as in this manner, 1 divided by 1 upon Hi plus Ri divided by K multiplied by ln of R naught divided by Ri plus R naught divided by Ri multiplied by 1 upon H naught. Okay, and if you taken common as external surface area, okay, if you consider that, if you taken the common external surface area, okay, so here if you say that, consider the same equation. Okay, and you have taken here the external surface area, then the overall heat transfer coefficient will be considered as a overall heat transfer coefficient based on a outer surface area, So in that case, from the resistance, from the resistance, you have to consider a naught common, 1 upon a naught common. You have to take the 1 upon a naught common from the resistance, and you have to shift to the numerator side, and whatever the remaining part is there, so that will be considered as the overall heat transfer coefficient based on a external surface area, So in this case, you will get the u naught as 1 divided by r naught divided by ri multiplied by 1 upon hi plus r naught divided by k multiplied by ln of r naught divided by ri plus 1 upon h naught Getting everyone? Is there any question, any doubt? So simple logic is there based on inner surface area ज्यावेळेस तुम्ही कन्सिडर करता. ओके, तुम्ही काय करता, पहिल्यांदा तुम्हाला माहित काय, पहिली गोष्ट माहित काय असणं गरजेचं आहे, पहिली गोष्ट माहित हे असणं गरजेचं आहे की Q इज इक्वल टू डेल्टा टी डिवाइडेड बाय आर टोटल. ओके, हे माहित आहे सगळ्यांना, डिवाइडेड बाय आर टोटल. आता आर टोटल कसं लिहितो आपण, आर टोटल कसं लिहितो, आर टोटल काय असतं, आर टोटल इज इक्वल टू काय असतं, तर सगळ्यांची ऍडिशन असते, टोटल थर्मल रेजिस्टन्सची ऍडिशन असते. सो इफ यू ऍड अप ऑल द रेजिस्टन्स ओव्हर हियर, वन, ओके ओके कंट्रोल, राइट राइट, ओके, 1 divided by hi multiply by ai. Okay, that is the inner surface area. Okay, and plus ln of r naught ln of r naught divided by ri multiply by 2 pi kl divided by 2 pi kl. Okay, this is the resistance offered for the thermal conduction. Okay, plus and 1 divided by h naught multiplied by a naught, that is the outer heat transfer coefficient. H naught is the outer heat transfer coefficient and this is the outer surface area. Okay, in this fashion you are writing. Okay, so if you consider this as Q is equal to, now here you have to write the R total value, right? So instead of that I am writing here R total value. Okay, R total value. Now which area you are taking common? Okay, this is the equation, right? Now this is the equation. Now here from the numerator side, denominator side, which area you are taking common? So there are two areas available in the denominator side. Okay, 1 upon ai is also available and 1 upon a naught is also available. So if you take ai common, okay, इथून जर ai जर common घेतलं तुम्ही, okay, consider that you have taken the ai common. Control C. If you taken the ai common, okay, 1 upon ai common, so it will be shifted to the numerator side. Okay, consider I have shifted this to the numerator side, ai common, and I have shifted this numerator side. Okay, so here the ai term will be vanished. Okay, now here 1 upon ai common घेतल्यामुळे इथं काय करावं लागेल, आपल्याला ai न मल्टिप्लाय करावं लागेल. Okay, ai multiply by ln of, okay, and इथं ai ची टर्म नाहीये, मग इथं काय होणार, 1 upon ai कॉमन घेतलं तर ai न मल्टिप्लाय करावं लागेल न्यूमरेटरला. ओके, इनर सरफेस एरियानं मल्टिप्लाय करावं लागेल, तर असं इक्वेशन मिळून जाईल तुम्हाला. ओके, असं इक्वेशन मिळून जाईल. आता इथं आपल्याला काय डायरेक्टली आपण घेऊ शकतो, एरिया इंटरनल सरफेस एरिया म्हणजे काय असतो, 2 पाय आर एल असतो, आर सफिक्स आय मल्टिप्लाय बाय एल असतं. त्यातलं 2 पाय एल कॅन्सल झालं एआय शी, तर काय राहिलं, फक्त आर आय राहिलं. आणि इथं 2 पाय आर r suffix I multiply by l divided by 2 pi r naught multiply by l. ओके, मग इथून 2 pi l कॅन्सल झालं तर r naught डिवायडेड बाय आर आय राहिलं. ओके, आर नॉट डिवायडेड बाय आर आय राहिलं. जर ज्यावेळेस तुम्ही एरिया कॉमन घेऊन वरती सोडता आणि जी टर्म जी तुम्हाला मिळते खालची डिनॉमिनेटर साइडला, ती टर्म काय असते तुमची, तर ओव्हरऑल हीट ट्रान्सफर कोएफिशियंट असते. ती टर्म काय असते तुमची, ओव्हरऑल हीट ट्रान्सफर कोएफिशियंट असते. आता इथं जसं मी ए आय कॉमन घेतलं तसं मी काय करू शकतो, ए नॉट कॉमन घेऊ शकतो. ए नॉट कॉमन घेऊ शकतो. इथं मी जर ए नॉट कॉमन घेतलं तर इथं आधीच माझं ए सफिक्स आय आहेच. ओके, ए सफिक्स आय आहेच. आता इथं मला ए नॉट परत द्यावं लागेल कारण की 1 ए नॉट मी कॉमन घेतोय. ओके, तर इथं मला 1 ए नॉट राहणार आणि इथून 1च राहणार इथं पण, आणि इथली ए नॉटची टर्म निघून जाणार. तर असं इक्वेशन मिळून जाईल. आणि इथं पण ए नॉट न तुम्हाला मल्टिप्लाय करावं लागेल. 1 ए नॉट कॉमन घेतलं आणि इथं ए नॉटची टर्म नाहीये तर तिथं ए नॉट न मल्टिप्लाय करावं लागेल तुम्हाला. तर हे असं इक्वेशन मिळेल. आणि वन्स अगेन ज्यावेळेस तुम्ही म्हणजे ते टर्म ए नॉट म्हणजे काय 2 पाय आर नॉट एल आणि ए आय म्हणजे काय 2 पाय आर सफिक्स आय एल. ओके, 2 पाय कॅन्सल झाले, एल एल कॅन्सल झाले तर आर नॉट डिवायडेड बाय आर आय राहिलं. तर तीच टर्म आपल्याला आर नॉट डिवायडेड बाय आर आय बेस्ड ऑन आउटर सरफेसला मिळते इथं. आणि इथं आर नॉट डिवायडेड बाय के मिळते आणि इथं 1 H नॉट आहे तसं मिळतंय. समजतंय का? माझं म्हणण्याचा उद्देश एकच आहे की जो एरिया तुम्ही कॉमन घ्याल, जो एरिया तुम्ही कॉमन घ्याल त्या एरियाच्या बेसिसवरती आपण त्याला असं म्हणू शकतो की बेस्ड ऑन इनर सरफेस और बेस्ड ऑन आउटर सरफेस. जर तुम्ही इनर सरफेस एरिया कॉमन घेतला तर तुम्हाला हे इक्वेशन यूज करावं लागेल, क्यू इज इक्वल टू यू मल्टिप्लाय बाय आय मल्टिप्लाय बाय ए सफिक्स आय मल्टिप्लाय बाय थीटा एम. आणि जर तुम्ही आउटर सरफेस एरिया कॉमन घेतला तर तुम्हाला हे इक्वेशन यूज करावं लागेल की क्यू इज इक्वल टू यू नॉट मल्टिप्लाय बाय ए नॉट मल्टिप्लाय बाय थीटा एम, वेअर यू नॉट इज नथिंग बट overall heat transfer coefficient on the basis of outer surface area. A naught is the outer surface area multiplied by theta m is the logarithmic mean temperature difference. If greater than 1.7 and less than 1.7, then you can consider the AMTD. Okay, you can consider the AMTD. So this is about the overall heat transfer coefficient. So you can write here overall heat transfer coefficient. U overall heat transfer coefficient U. In that you can write first point as in a heat exchanger, in a heat exchanger when two fluids in a heat exchanger when two fluids, that is hot fluid and cold fluid, that is hot fluid and cold fluid, hot fluid and cold fluid are separated by a plane wall, a plane wall are separated by a plane wall, then the overall heat transfer coefficient is given by, then the overall heat transfer coefficient is given by, so you can draw this diagram. freehand sketching is required. Okay. So in this case, we'll get overall heat transfer coefficient as 1 divided by 1 divided by 1 whole divided by 1 divided by H suffix HF plus L divided by K plus 1 divided by H suffix CF. Okay. And second part of this overall heat transfer coefficient for the tubes, okay, or for the cylindrical heat exchangers. If the fluids are separated by tube wall, then overall heat transfer coefficient is given as, if the fluids are separated by tube walls, then overall heat transfer coefficient is given as. So you can draw this diagram. So then you will get idea about the, based on inner surface. First part is based on inner surface. I will delete this. Based on inner surface. drawn the diagram. So in this case, you can directly write down. If you're not understanding this, then you can write these formulas for R total, Q means what, and then if you take A not common, then what we'll get. Okay, and if you are known everything, then you can directly write this overall heat transfer coefficient as one divided by 1 upon Hi plus Ri divided by K ln of R naught divided by Ri plus R naught divided by Ri multiplied by 1 upon H naught. And Q can be calculated as Q is equal to U suffix I multiplied by A suffix I multiplied by theta m. Then next, based on outer surface, that is U naught is equal to 1 divided by R naught divided by Ri multiply by 1 upon Hi plus R naught divided by K multiply by ln of R naught divided by Ri plus 1 upon H naught. And in this case, you have to calculate the heat transfer rate by using this formula, that is nothing but Q is equal to U naught multiplied by A naught multiplied by theta m. Okay, getting everyone? Today's lecture, whatever we have discussed, understood everything? Is there any question, any doubt? You can ask. Have you written all the points? Okay, then we'll stop here for today. You can put up your roll numbers in the chat box and you can leave. गायबच झाला एकदम आता.